So we are going to talk about the peaches.
What peaches? Oh, those peaches.
Yeah, those peaches.
I picked up a half bushel of Georgia peaches from the Peach Truck.
A half bushel is 25 pounds of peaches.
Peaches are good. These peaches were picked on Wednesday in Fort Valley, Georgia, and I picked them up in Texas on Friday.
So when you pick them up, they are a little firm and they need about 48 hours before they're gonna ripen fully. Now, all of that kind of information and a lot more is on this handy dandy little proper care sheet that they give you in case you don't have experience working with 25 pounds of peaches, which we did not.
So these are early summer peaches, which means that they're a clingstone variety, which means that when you cut them in half, the stone stays attached to the fruit. You can't just peel the stone out.
Kind of like an apple.
Yeah, it's got more of a core. These are not like your grocery store peaches, which are watery and disappointing in flavor. These pack a lot of flavor in a small peach. We found that they, in general, weigh about 100 grams each, and by the time you peel them and slice them, it takes about 2 or 3 peaches to make a cup.
The 25 pounds of peaches is a lot of peaches. There's only so much cobbler that I can eat. So what else are we gonna do?
Well, thankfully the Peach Truck has a cookbook. It has a wide variety of recipes, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything in between. So we're gonna try some of these.
All right. I think we'll also have to try a cobbler later, but we'll do that next week. So if you want to stick around for that, hit subscribe, hit the bell. You'll get notified when we release that. But now let's kick it off to breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
If we're gonna have peaches for breakfast, I'm gonna make a Dutch baby. Why is it called Dutch baby? Well, it's actually not Dutch at all. It's German, and baby, who knows? To get started, I'm gonna caramelize some peaches and sugar. I've got a cast iron skillet preheating in the oven. I'm gonna melt a tablespoon of butter. Once that's melted, I'm going to add a cup of chopped peaches and a tablespoon of sugar. We want these peaches to just begin to brown and the sugar to caramelize. Getting a beautiful caramel color on the edges of the pan. Seeing some browning on the peaches. So it's time to remove them from the heat. I'm gonna get the preheated cast iron skillet from the oven and melt the butter inside. I'm going to quickly blend this batter together. It's equal parts eggs, milk, and flour. I've added a little bit of sugar and some cinnamon, which the recipe didn't call for. For a Dutch baby, you want to use a blender or hand blender to create a lot of bubbles so it will puff in the oven. The next steps are really fast. This pan is very hot, the butter is melted, the batter goes in, and the peaches get spooned on top. Notice how the butter will curl up around the sides, and in fact, the batter is already starting to cook at the sides of the pans. We'll spoon these caramelized peaches on top, and then this goes back in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. It'll be very puffy, and then it will deflate when we pull it out. At this time, you can prepare some sliced peaches to put on top and a few tablespoons of powdered sugar to top it. You'll want to eat this hot from the oven, so make sure your fruit is ready to go. This Dutch baby is golden brown and puffy. As soon as I pull it out, it will start to deflate. Oh, it smells so good. I'm gonna dust this whole thing with powdered sugar. It's crackling, the butter is sizzling inside. Oh, it sounds fabulous. And then I'm going to place sliced peaches on top. Yes, it's starting to collapse in on itself, especially at the edges you can really see. This is kind of a mix between a pancake and a crepe and a popover. Beautiful fruit on top, a little more powdered sugar, and it is ready to serve. This looks good, smells good, it's ready to eat. It is lunchtime, and I am thrilled to have found a variation on a lunchtime classic in the Peach Truck Cookbook. They have a BLP sandwich. That's like a bacon, lettuce, and tomato, but instead of tomato, we're using peaches. I'm thrilled. So let's start by mixing up some mayonnaise. They recommend Duke's mayonnaise. Only 2 people in our house eat mayonnaise at all, so we've never had this, but we're gonna give it a try today. I'm using a little less than the recipe calls for because I won't be making all the sandwiches with this mayonnaise. That smells like mayonnaise. And we're mixing this with a little bit of honey as well. Stir it up and set it aside for spreading later. Next, I'm gonna prepare my lettuce. I'm gonna choose some beautiful leaves from this Boston head. I'll give these rinse and pat them dry. I'm gonna slice these peaches just like I would a tomato, about a 1/4 inch thick. These extra pieces that are too awkward for a sandwich, I'll use in a cobbler later. I'll use about 1 peach per sandwich. I just want to cover the bread, so I'm gonna make enough slices for that. These smell so peachy. Peachy. Now it's down to just simply assembling. We have the lettuce, peaches. I crisped some bacon yesterday, including a recipe for candied bacon using peach jam from the Peach Truck Cookbook, and I've toasted the bread. To assemble, I'm gonna start with 2 pieces of toast. On this first sandwich, I'm going to include the mayonnaise that we've mixed with honey. For this sandwich, I'm going to use the regular crisped bacon, not the candied version. Just gonna break these bacon strips in half to cover the bread well. Just a little bonus there. Then I'm going to put the peach slices on top, a couple of leaves of lettuce. Beautiful. I think I'll cut this in half. That is very crispy bacon. Now I'm going to make one without the mayonnaise for myself with the candied bacon. That looks so delicious. Candied bacon is shiny and has a sweet smell. Especially when I make sandwiches without mayonnaise, I make sure to put the lettuce on the bread side rather than the fruit or the tomato that would make the bread soggy normally. You use this lettuce as a barrier, you won't have trouble with soggy bread. Oh, that is a beautiful sandwich. No bacon scraps left to waste. Never had a peach sandwich before. The salty and sweet bacon is perfect for this. That's really good. Too good. If you're working with peaches, you may have a recipe that calls for cups and cups of cut up peeled peaches. If you're peeling 1 or 2 peaches, no problem to peel them with a little vegetable peeler. But if you're peeling more than that, I highly suggest blanching. The idea behind blanching is that you plunge a fresh peach into boiling water, let it sit there for just 30 seconds in the boiling water, plunge it into ice water, and the peel will very easily come off the peach. The first step of that process is to use a sharp knife and make a little X in the bottom of each peach peel so that you have something to grab onto. Be sure to gently place them in with a slotted spoon. Don't toss them in because you'll splash boiling water on yourself. Nobody likes that. Of course, we don't want to leave these in here too long because then the peaches actually cook and we may want to eat them raw. Then they come out and directly into the ice water. Once they're cool in the ice water, you can peel them from the X. Hopefully that peels very easily.
Okay, so it's definitely easier if they're colder.
Now, if you have a bowl of peaches like this, you're ready to slice them and freeze them in Ziploc bags to eat later. Or you could make jam or use them in any other recipes. To go with our peachy dinner tonight, I'm going to make a peach savory butter. I'm putting 1 stick of butter into a large bowl. Boy, it's warm out here. This butter's awfully soft. I've got lemon and orange zest, 1/8 of a teaspoon each of cracked pepper and paprika, minced shallot and some brown sugar. This is fresh thyme. And of course, this is a peeled peach that we blanched and chopped finely. Now I'm just gonna mix this together. I'm gonna make sure those dry spices get well blended throughout. Once this is blended, we'll wrap it in plastic wrap and put it in the freezer to firm up for our dinner. I'm gonna place this butter on this plastic wrap it up into a log, and chill this as long as possible.
All right, as a part of our dinner, we're gonna go ahead and grill some peaches in a manly way. Now, let's see. Yep, warm. Lisa, your grill is ready!
I'm grilling our vegetables tonight. I've already grilled the zucchini and I'm ready to grill some peaches. Remember, we made some savory peach butter that's chilling right now. I'm gonna grill some green onions and peaches that we can top with the butter after we're done. These should just take a couple of minutes. They squeak when they hit the hot grill. Just give these a minute and then we'll turn them over. I like them to get a little more brown. Ah. Now because these are clingstone peaches, meaning that the stone does not fall out when you cut them in half, I had to slice on either side of the stone. And so these have a flat edge, perfect for grilling. If you have freestone peaches, of course, you could pop that stone right out and you'd have a little hollow to put some of that delicious butter in. I'm leaving these for just another minute so they'll brown on both sides. It does smell good. Mmm. Let's get these grilled vegetables buttered and give them a taste. Mmm. Wow. Grilled peaches with savory peach butter. That is fantastic. That is a perfect side dish for our dinner.
Okay, that was a lot of peach recipes. So what's the verdict? What do we think about the Peach Truck peaches?
I loved these peaches. They are delicious and an excellent price.
They do taste great, but you do need to consider you will have 25 pounds of peaches that all come ripe in the same 2 to 3 days. For us, that was 86 peaches that we had to figure out what to do with. So you really need to make sure you have a plan going in.
That's right. Get yourself a cookbook, do your research while they're ripening so that you are ready to spend several hours on one afternoon or a whole day to prepare Peach Fest.
So with our 25 pounds of peaches, it was a lot of stuff. I wrote it down. We made 3 different cobblers. We ate a dozen peaches. We gave away a dozen peaches. We made breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we made a batch of jam. That is a lot of peaches.
But we thoroughly enjoyed their short yet delicious lives. Maybe next year I'll buy a full bushel.